guys, welcome back to the shop. Today we're doing some work on the C20. So what we're doing today is going to be some suspension and steering, mostly the steering. I've got new tie rods and tie rod ends to go on this guy. I have half the ball joints that I want, so we're going to still be waiting on those, but we'll get a jump on it and do our tie rods. And for once, I've got the truck parked kind of sideways in the garage. That way I've got, room on both sides to get around it. And yeah, first thing we're going to do, jack it up, get the wheels off. Alright, got it jacked up on some stands and the wheels off. Now we can really see what's actually going on. First thing I'll show you is the lower ball joint, which I'm not changing today because I'm waiting for it in the mail. But if you look right there, you'll see a little bit of play. That is definitely dangerous. The jack is lifting it up right now. That way we can actually unload the spring. But the big thing what we're doing today is we're going to take care of those tie rod ends because I don't know if you can see that, but that is like a 1/16 inch of lateral play. That's gonna hurt someone when that lets go. But later I'm going to be doing those lower ball joints. I do have the upper ball joints, so I might do that today. I technically don't need to do them both at the same time, but it does help. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to tackle these tie rod ends. And I did get a kit that is both of them and the sleeve, so I can just take this whole thing off as an assembly. And that's what we're going to do. First step is going to be to take the cotter pin out of the castle nut on both sides. Then we can take that castle nut off, and then we can pop the ball joint. Okay, nasty cotter pin out. Now we'll get that. Then we'll just get the castle nut off. All right. Now, the one thing that's kind of important to know. A lot of times you can take a pickle fork, and that's one way of popping these. That's probably what we'll do on the other end. But when you've got something nice and meaty like this, smack it with a hammer just right there on the flat spot. That will shock it enough and usually pop the ball joint for you. So I'm going to go grab my 4-pound mini sledge and give it a couple smacks. And hearing protection is nice, just in case. There we go. Easy as that. So that is the way that you usually do it. That way you can keep from tearing the boot on the ball joint or hurting the ball joint any other way, assuming you plan on reusing it. We're not reusing this, but I like to do that anyway. So now I just got to do the inside, and that'll probably be with a pickle fork. I couldn't actually find my regular pickle fork, so I remembered I had the air hammer attachment, so quick work of it. But if you don't have an air hammer and a nice compressor, regular pickle fork, smack with a big hammer a bunch of times, eventually it'll pop. So now with this all loose, you can take that out and remove our link. So now we're going to go grab our new one, and what we're going to do is hold it up next to this and make it exactly the same length. Now it's going to be a little bit different, and our steering is going to be off, and we're going to need to play with our alignment. But it's important to make it as close as possible. That way you make your life a little bit easier down the road. Oh, and yes, I noticed my steering box is leaking and it's really gross, so I will probably be either rebuilding or replacing that, but that's not going to be for today. Well, I just unboxed the new parts, and joy of joys, they're wrong. These are substantially too small. I think these are for the C10 and not a C20. I would have guessed that the C20 uses the same as a C10, just because usually the way it goes is the 3/4 ton truck has the half-ton front suspension and 1-ton rear. That's how they make it. That's how they call it a 3/4. But this appears to be substantially beefier. So I don't know. Maybe this actually might be a C30. I don't think so. The VIN doesn't say so, but the title doesn't say so. But you never know. Anywho, yeah, I'm gonna go probably check somewhere else. Maybe go to the local parts store, see if they have anything. But it is late, so that will be tomorrow. All right, parts came in. Now to assemble. So the first thing I'm going to do, to kind of get a ballpark, we're going to measure. And we are about just a smidgen over, oh, let me center that. We are at about 16 1/4. So total length is going to be 16 1/4. So what we're going to do is take it apart. We have to reuse this collar because I wasn't about to buy a new collar since I didn't buy a whole kit, and there's nothing wrong with the collar. So got some 9/16 sockets, or a 9/16 socket and wrench. Gonna loosen that up. Now I'm pretty much just gonna clamp some part of this in the vise, and we're just gonna unwind both of these guys. Alright, now I'm just going to clean this up on the wire wheel, and then we've got to do it again for the other guy. Got my new parts. Technically, this guy was actually pretty good on the old one, but we're going to replace it anyway. These are the outers. These are definitely what need to be replaced. So, first step, put a little bit of anti-seize on there because, you know, be nice to the next guy. And this is the right-hand thread one. Dial that in. Use this as a reference. Go to where the threads start looking clean. Turns, pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now, this guy. Some fuzzies on here. Okay. Again, a little bit of anti-seize. And again, this is the reverse thread. So I'm going to turn this to the left. That's going to tighten it down. And then we're going to try to get these pretty close to even and in the middle. That way we don't have this collar like too far on this one or too far on this one. That way when we adjust, we've got nice even clamping pressure on both sides. And you can see this line right there. So that's about where I'm going to. and you can actually see the edges there and there. Actually, I ran into a spot where it starts to get tight, so that makes me think, yeah, that makes me think that's pretty close to where it was before. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Gonna leave all this loose right now, and then tighten everything up once we get it in the truck. Alright, second one done, ready to go in. So I totally forgot to film installing the tie rods, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Just throw them in the same orientation they were, tighten the nut up. If you're questioning what the torque spec is, look it up in a manual, and then make sure you get that cotter pin through the castle nut, assuming your new one has a castle nut. Sometimes newer ones will have a nylock, but yeah, pretty basic. So now we just got to do the alignment. Alright, so now we're going to check toe. For this, you pretty much just need a tape measure. A marker or a paint pen can help. But basically all we're going to do is measure the front of the wheels and then measure the back of the wheels. They do make these weird little things you bolt on in place of the wheels for doing toe. Two things about those. One, if you do use one of those, don't use two tape measures because tape measures are almost never the same. Odds are you might get some discrepancies, so only use one on the front and then use that same one for the back. Two, they only work for solid front axles. So on independent suspension, you've got a lot more dynamic movement, and when it's up on jack stands, the toe is going to be drastically different than when it's on the ground. So yeah, only for solid axles, but what I'm going to show you right now works for anything. So what we're going to do is start a certain height up on the tire, like let's just say 8 inches, and I like to mark that spot. Then we're going to hook our tape measure to there and then take a measurement off of the other side. Now, so once you've taken that measurement, just remember it, and if you've got the space, what you actually want to do is roll the car or truck forward until this spot goes down and then comes back up on the other side. That way you're measuring the exact same spot on the tire, and make sure it's the same height off the ground, and then draw another measurement across on the back. Now what we're looking for most things is to be about a 1/16 to an 1/8 inch toed in, so that means the front measurement is a 1/16 to an 1/8 smaller than the rear measurement. If it's not, then basically then you just adjust your tie rod. So you know, you thread it in whichever direction makes it longer. If it's too toed in, so if this is like say a quarter or so, you would dial that back out. And then if it's toed out, you would turn the tie rod whichever way brings that inwards. So on some things you turn it like towards the front, on some you turn it towards the back. It just depends on the threading that you've got. This is also definitely helpful with 2 people, so I'm probably going to grab a helper. Yeah, just basically after that, take it for a test drive. And what you're looking for is 2 things when you do that. 1, that it actually drives properly, and 2, that the steering wheel is centered. So if the toe itself is set up correctly, and the steering wheel is a little bit off, basically what you're going to do is turn the tie rod end on one side to lengthen it, and then the other side to shorten it the exact same amount to then preserve the total distance. So if the steering wheel is let's say, is to the left, is a little bit off left of center, what you're going to want to do is basically turn it such that the wheels are then pointing slightly to the left. So that means the left side you would elongate and the right side you would shorten. You really only want to, for small adjustments, just do it like a quarter turn at a time. If it's really out, then maybe do like a half turn or even a full turn. But yeah, that's the quick and dirty of doing a toe adjustment. And if you have any reservations about that, feel free to take it to an alignment shop. They've got lasers that measure these things, and they're going to be way more accurate than that tape measure. But just to get you down the road, this works pretty good. And just a reminder, before you hit the road, make sure you tighten up all those clamps. That way it doesn't spin or twist or anything while you're driving. Some cars don't do the little sleeve with the clamps, and they'll have a jam nut on each side. Same idea, make sure that's tightened up. And then also make sure, if you've got greasable ball joints, that you're pumping at least a pump or so worth of grease into them. That way, just on the off chance that they start out dry, you're, giving them a fighting chance. Alright, so that's going to be it for today. I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching. Alright, and this side should be a right-hand thread, or a left-hand thread, so I'm going to turn it to the right to unthread it.